Bonjour and welcome back to the podcast to Philippe. Today, we're going to be looking at some news coming out of CES 2025, and in particular, NVIDIA's announcement of Project Digits, their personal AI supercomputer. It's built around their new Grace Blackwell superchip, which packs a powerful GPU and CPU combo we'll be talking about, how this new device could potentially democratize AI development, and what it could mean for the future of the field. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Amazon. Now let's unpack all of this with our expert.
It's great to be back. This Project Digits announcement really was a show stealer, especially coming right after they unveiled the Blackwell architecture for their GeForce RTX 50 series.
Right, those new GPUs are crazy powerful themselves, but then they dropped this personal AI supercomputer bomb on us. What does that even mean? Is this something I could actually have on my desk?
Well, think about it this way. NVIDIA basically took the power of a data center and crammed it into a box the size of, say, a Mac Mini. That's essentially what Project Digits is. And yes, it's designed to sit right there on your desk.
Whoa, okay. So what's powering this mini beast?
It's all built around this new chip they're calling the GB10 Grace Blackwell superchip. It's a pretty remarkable piece of engineering, actually. They combine their new Blackwell GPU, the same one powering those impressive new RTX 50 series cards, with a Grace CPU.
Wait, Grace, isn't that the CPU they developed with MediaTek? I thought MediaTek was all about smartphone chips.
They are, and that's what makes this partnership so interesting. The Grace CPU is specifically designed for handling those really massive AI models, the kind that until now, you would have needed a whole room full of servers to run.
So how powerful are we talking here? Like, what can this thing actually do?
They claim it can deliver up to 1 petaflop of AI performance. And get this, you can link 2 of these systems together, so you're potentially looking at double that power. Enough to handle models with hundreds of billions of parameters.
Okay, I need you to break that down for me. What do those parameters even mean?
Think of it like this. The more parameters a model has, the more complex and nuanced it can be. It's like comparing a simple drawing with a detailed photorealistic painting. The painting has way more data points, right? Same idea with AI models. More parameters mean the model can understand and generate more complex outputs.
So more parameters equals a smarter AI.
In a way, yes.
And this Project Digits box can handle some of the biggest,
Oh,
most complex models out there.
Exactly, and that's a game changer for developers who don't have access to huge data centers. It's like having a superpower on your desk.
Okay, but it's still a lot of technical jargon for me. Can you give me an example of what a developer could actually deal with this kind of power?
Well, imagine you're a researcher, developing a new AI to help diagnose diseases. Or maybe you're working on a system to make self-driving cars even safer. Before you'd need access to massive computing resources to even begin testing those kinds of complex models, now with Project Digits, you could potentially do all of that right from your office.
That's kind of mind-blowing. It's like AI research just got a whole lot more personal.
It really has, and that's why everyone is talking about democratization.
Democratization, you mean like making AI development accessible to more people?
Exactly. Right now, the field of AI is dominated by big tech companies with tons of resources. But at $3,000, Project Digits is,
Right.
well, not exactly cheap, way more accessible than building your own supercomputer.
Smaller teams,
Yeah.
startups, even individual researchers, they could all potentially get in on the AI action.
It's certainly possible, and that's a really exciting prospect. Imagine the kind of innovation we could see if more people had access to these tools.
And what about the software side of things? Do developers need to start from scratch or?
No, that's another big advantage here. Project Digits comes loaded with NVIDIA's entire AI software stack, so you have everything you need right out of the box. Frameworks, libraries, tools for training and deploying models.
The works? Okay, so you've got the powerful hardware, the comprehensive software. It's starting to sound like they've really thought this through.
They have. And it's clearly designed to make AI development as streamlined as possible. You can prototype and test locally on Project Digits, and then, if you need more power, seamlessly scale up to the cloud or one of NVIDIA's data centers.
So it's like a stepping stone for bigger things too. You're not limited to just what you can do on your own machine.
Exactly. It's a flexible and powerful platform that could potentially accelerate the pace of AI development across the board.
This is feeling like a before and after moment for AI. Like everything is about to change.
I think that's a fair assessment, and it's going to be incredibly interesting to see what the next few years bring.
That leads to a really important question. What kind of impact are we really talking about here? I mean, what does this mean for the future of AI? And really for all of us?
Well, NVIDIA's CEO compared this to the ChatGPT moment. But for robotics, He's predicting some big breakthroughs in the next couple of years.
Robotics. What do you think he means by that?
Well, think about it. Robots need to process a lot of data in real time to navigate
Yeah.
the world, interact with objects, make decisions.
Right, and with this kind of power available in a compact, affordable package.
Exactly. It could be a catalyst for a whole new generation of robots.
But this is just the tip of the iceberg, right?
Yeah.
What other fields could be impacted by this?
Oh, the possibilities are almost endless. Healthcare, finance, transportation, manufacturing.
Right.
Really, any field that can benefit from AI could potentially be transformed by this technology.
So we're talking about a potential paradigm shift in how we develop and apply AI.
That's one way to put it.
And you know what's really fascinating to me is that MediaTek played a part in this. Who would have guessed that a company known for smartphone chips would be involved in something like this?
Certainly an interesting twist, isn't it? But it highlights how the lines between different areas of technology are blurring. And it speaks to the collaborative nature of innovation.
I'm curious to know more about the GB10 Grace Blackwell superchip itself. I mean, how did they manage to squeeze so much power into such a small device?
Well, it's a testament to the incredible advancements in chip design and manufacturing. We're seeing a trend towards greater miniaturization without sacrificing performance.
So we're talking about the power of a supercomputer in the palm of your hand.
Not quite the palm of your hand, but certainly small enough to fit on your desk. And that accessibility is what makes Project Digits so exciting. Imagine researchers and developers all over the world having access to this kind of power.
It's like putting a super-powered lab in everyone's home office. It could lead to an explosion of new ideas and applications.
Yeah.
But I have to wonder,
Yes.
are there any potential downsides to consider? I mean, could this level of power in the wrong hands be dangerous?
That's a very important question.
What are your thoughts?
Well, any technology this powerful has the potential to be misused, but it's important to remember that AI is a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill. Ultimately, it comes down to the intentions of the people who are using it.
I suppose that's true of any powerful technology.
Precisely. But it's a conversation we need to be having as we enter this new era of AI.
We'll definitely need to delve into the ethical implications of this in more detail. But first,
Yes.
let's get back to those new GeForce RTX 50 series GPUs. I mean, they were kind of overshadowed by the Project Digits announcement, but they're still pretty mind-blowing in their own right.
They are indeed, and they could have a huge impact on the gaming and content creation worlds.
So let's talk about what those 92 billion transistors
Yeah.
and 4 petaflops of AI performance actually mean for gamers.
Well, for starters, we're talking about a whole new level of visual realism. Imagine games with environments so detailed they look almost photorealistic, characters that move and interact with incredible fluidity, and special effects that will blow you away.
I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. And what about the new G7 memory? How does that factor into the equation?
The G7 memory. That's a real game changer. It's significantly faster than previous generations of memory, which means games can load faster, textures can be even more detailed, and the overall experience will be smoother and more responsive.
So we're talking about a smoother gameplay experience, more immersive worlds.
Exactly. And there's also the potential for new gameplay features that weren't possible before.
Like what?
Well, NVIDIA highlighted the ability of these new GPUs to handle both AI workloads and computer graphics workloads simultaneously. This opens up possibilities for features we've never seen before.
That's intriguing. Give me an example.
Imagine games where the NPCs are powered by AI that can learn and adapt to your gameplay style. Or real-time ray tracing that's enhanced by AI to produce even more stunning visuals.
Wow, that's next level. And they're not just putting this technology into high-end gaming PCs, right? They mentioned something about laptops as well.
Right. They showed off a laptop with an RTX 5070 that they claim delivers performance comparable to a desktop RTX 4090.
Hold on, you're telling me they're putting desktop-level performance into a laptop?
And they're even putting the 5090, their top-of-the-line GPU, into a thin and light laptop design.
That's insane. So we're talking about portable gaming rigs that can rival a high-end gaming PC.
That's the idea.
You know what this reminds me of? Remember a few years ago when everyone was talking about how cloud gaming was going to be the future?
I do.
Maybe with this level of power becoming available on laptops, we'll see a shift back towards local processing.
That's an interesting thought.
I mean, if you can get desktop-level performance in a laptop, why would you need to stream games from the cloud?
It certainly makes local gaming a lot more attractive, especially for those who value low latency and high visual fidelity.
It seems like NVIDIA is really pushing the boundaries of what's possible with
So
GPUs.
they are. And it's exciting to see where this technology will take us in the years to come.
But let's not forget about Project Digits.
Of course.
It's not every day that a company announces a personal AI supercomputer,
Yeah.
and it seems like it has the potential to be truly revolutionary.
It does. And it will be fascinating to see how it is received by the research and development community. Will it live up to the hype? Will it truly democratize AI development?
Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure, NVIDIA has made some bold moves with these announcements, and they've definitely got our attention.
I agree. And I have a feeling we'll be talking a lot more about both Project Digits and the RTX 50 series in the coming months and years.
Absolutely. But for now, I think we've given our listeners plenty to digest.
Indeed. It's been a pleasure exploring these advancements with you.
And with you, our listeners. Thanks for tuning in to Le Podcast de Philippe. We'll be back soon with another deep dive into the world of tech and innovation. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and Amazon so you don't miss out on our next exciting episode.
Until next time. It's amazing to think how far we've come in such a short time. Just a few years ago, the idea of having this level of AI power at your fingertips would have been science fiction.
I know, right? It feels like we're on the verge of something truly transformative.
We are, and it's not just about the hardware, it's about the possibilities that this technology unlocks.
Okay, so let's dive into those possibilities. What are some concrete examples of how Project Digits could change the game in different fields?
Let's start with healthcare. Imagine doctors being able to use AI-powered tools to diagnose diseases more accurately and efficiently, or researchers developing personalized treatments tailored to an individual's genetic makeup.
That would be incredible. We're talking about a potential revolution in healthcare.
Absolutely. And it's not just about treating existing diseases. It's about preventing them in the first place. AI could be used to analyze massive amounts of data, to identify risk factors and develop strategies for early intervention.
That's a powerful idea, shifting from reactive care to proactive prevention.
Exactly. And let's not forget about drug discovery. Developing new drugs is a complex and time-consuming process, but AI could accelerate that process by identifying promising drug candidates and predicting their effectiveness.
So we could potentially see new life-saving drugs coming to market much faster.
That's the hope. And the applications go far beyond healthcare.
Okay, give me another example.
Let's talk about finance. AI is already being used in the financial industry for things like fraud detection and risk assessment. But with the power of Project Digits, we could see much more sophisticated algorithms that can analyze market trends, predict stock prices, and manage investments with greater accuracy.
So we're talking about a potential shift in how we invest and manage our money.
It's certainly a possibility. And it's not just about making more money. It's about making smarter financial decisions that benefit individuals and the economy as a whole.
I like the sound of that. What else?
How about transportation? We've already talked about self-driving cars, but Project Digits could accelerate the development of all sorts of autonomous vehicles, from delivery drones to self-driving trucks.
Imagine a world where traffic jams are a thing of the past, and goods are transported with incredible efficiency.
Exactly. And it's not just about convenience. Autonomous vehicles have the potential to make our roads safer and reduce our carbon footprint.
It's amazing to think about the ripple effects this technology could have on so many aspects of our lives.
It truly is, and we've only scratched the surface.
I know. It feels like every time we talk about a new potential application, 10 more pop into my head.
That's the beauty of it. The possibilities are truly vast, and as more people gain access to these powerful tools, we can expect an explosion of creativity and innovation.
That's what I find so exciting about this whole democratization aspect. We're talking about empowering individuals to make a real difference in the world. It's like giving everyone a superpower.
It is. And who knows what amazing things people will create when they have these tools at their disposal.
Okay, but let's be realistic for a moment. Not everyone is a tech genius. How easy is it actually going to be for someone who isn't an AI expert to use Project Digits?
That's a valid question. And while NVIDIA has a good track record of developing user-friendly software, there's definitely going to be a learning curve.
So it's not just plug and play.
Not exactly. You'll need to have a basic understanding of AI concepts and how to work with data.
But do you need a PhD in computer science to use it?
No, not necessarily. I think NVIDIA is aiming to make this technology accessible to a wide range of users. They'll likely offer training resources and tutorials to help people get started.
That's good to hear. Because if this technology is really going to democratize AI development, it needs to be accessible to people with different skill levels.
Absolutely. And I think that's something NVIDIA is very much aware of. They want to create a platform that empowers everyone to explore the possibilities of AI.
I'm curious to see how the education system adapts to this new landscape.
Hmm.
I mean, if AI is going to play such a big role in the future, shouldn't we be teaching kids about it from a young age?
I completely agree. Integrating AI education into school curricula is essential.
Imagine if kids could start experimenting with AI in elementary school. They could be building their own robots, designing their own algorithms, and who knows what else.
It's an exciting thought, and it could lead to a generation of young people who are comfortable and confident working with AI.
That's the future I want to see.
Hmm.
A future where AI is not just a tool for experts, but a tool for everyone.
I think we're heading in that direction. And it's a future filled with incredible potential.
Okay, before we get too carried away with all the positive possibilities, let's take a moment to address the elephant in the room.
How?
We've talked about all the amazing things AI could do, but what about the potential downsides? What about the risks?
You're right. We need to be mindful of the potential risks. AI is a powerful tool. And like any tool, it can be misused.
What are some of the specific risks we should be thinking about?
Well, one of the biggest concerns is job displacement. As AI becomes more sophisticated, it's inevitable that some jobs will be automated.
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
We need to be thinking about how we can prepare our workforce for the changes that AI will bring.
Absolutely. We need to invest in education and training programs that will equip people with the skills they need to thrive in an AI-powered world.
And it's not just about job displacement. There are also concerns about bias in AI algorithms. If AI systems are trained on biased data, they can perpetuate and even amplify those biases.
That's a critical point. We need to be very careful about the data we use to train AI systems, and we need to develop mechanisms to ensure that AI algorithms are fair and unbiased.
And what about the potential for AI to be used for malicious purposes? Could this technology fall into the wrong hands and be used to harm people?
It's certainly a possibility, and it's something we need to be vigilant about. We need to develop safeguards to prevent AI from being used for harmful purposes, such as autonomous weapon systems or surveillance technologies that violate privacy.
So it's not just about developing the technology itself, it's about developing it responsibly and ethically.
Exactly. We need to have a thoughtful and nuanced conversation about the ethical implications of AI.
And that conversation needs to involve people from all walks of life, not just tech experts.
I couldn't agree more. We need to engage the public in a dialogue about the future of AI and ensure that its development reflects our shared values.
This is feeling like a very important moment in human history. We're on the cusp of a technological revolution. That has the potential to reshape our world in profound ways. And it's up to us to shape that revolution in a way that benefits all of humanity.
I think that's a beautiful way to put it. We have a responsibility to use this technology wisely and ethically.
We've covered a lot of ground today, from the technical details of Project Digits to the broader societal implications of AI. It's clear that this technology is going to play an increasingly important role in our lives.
It is, and it's a topic that we'll continue to explore in future episodes.
Absolutely. But for now,
Yes.
let's zoom back in on something we touched on earlier, those incredibly powerful new RTX 50 series GPUs. They might have been overshadowed by the Project Digits announcement, but they're still a major leap forward in graphics technology.
They are. And I think it's worth taking a closer look at what they mean for gamers and content creators.
Agreed. So let's break down those specs a bit more. We're talking about 92 billion transistors on a single GPU.
Which is mind-boggling when you think about it.
I know, right? And 4 petaflops of AI performance, which is a threefold increase over the previous generation. And then there's that new G7 memory technology.
The G7 memory is a real game changer. It's so much faster than anything we've seen before.
So what does all of this mean for gamers in practical terms?
Well, imagine stepping into a game world that's so detailed and immersive, it feels like you're actually there. We're talking about photorealistic graphics, incredibly lifelike characters, and special effects that will blow your mind.
I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it.
Yeah.
And what about the gameplay itself? Will these new GPUs make games run smoother?
Absolutely. The increased processing power and faster memory will make games load faster, run smoother,
Yeah.
and feel more responsive.
So we're talking about a smoother, more immersive,
Yeah.
and overall more enjoyable gaming experience.
Exactly. And there's also the potential for entirely new gameplay features that weren't possible before.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, NVIDIA has been talking a lot about the potential of AI to enhance gaming. Imagine games where the non-player characters are powered by AI that can learn and adapt to your playing style.
That's amazing. So the NPCs wouldn't just be following a pre-programmed script. We'd actually be reacting to you in real time.
Exactly. It would make the game world feel much more dynamic and alive.
That's next level stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not just about AI-powered NPCs. What about the visuals themselves? Can AI be used to make games look even better?
Absolutely. NVIDIA has been working on something called AI-enhanced ray tracing, which uses AI to improve the quality and realism of ray-traced graphics.
So we're talking about even more realistic lighting, shadows, and reflections.
Precisely. And it's not just about making things look prettier. AI can also be used to optimize game performance, making sure that you're getting the best possible frame rates and visual fidelity.
This is all starting to sound pretty amazing. But let's be honest, not everyone can afford to build a high-end gaming PC. What about gamers who prefer laptops?
Well, that's the other exciting thing about these new GPUs. NVIDIA is putting them into laptops as well.
Seriously. So we're talking about portable gaming rigs that can rival a desktop PC in terms of performance.
That's the idea. They showed off a laptop with an RTX 5070 that they claim delivers performance comparable to a desktop RTX 4090.
Wait, what? That's insane.
And they're even putting the 5090, their top-of-the-line GPU, into a thin and light laptop design.
Hold on. You're telling me that they're putting the most powerful GPU they've ever made into a laptop that's thin and light?
That's right.
That's absolutely mind-blowing.
It is. And it means that gamers who prefer laptops won't have to compromise on performance.
You know, it wasn't that long ago that everyone was talking about cloud gaming being the future of gaming. But with this level of performance available in laptops,
I know what you're thinking.
maybe we're seeing a shift back to local processing.
It's definitely a possibility. If you can get desktop-level performance in a laptop, why would you need to stream games from the cloud?
Exactly. And it's not just about performance. Local gaming offers lower latency, which is crucial for competitive gaming. And it doesn't require a constant internet connection.
Right, so these new GPUs could be a game changer for laptop gamers.
It seems like NVIDIA is really pushing the boundaries of what's possible in both the gaming and the AI worlds.
They are, and it's an exciting time to be following these developments.
I couldn't agree more, and I have a feeling that we've only just scratched the surface of what's possible.
I think you're right. The future of gaming and AI is incredibly bright, and I can't wait to see what's next.
Me neither. But for now,
Yes.
let's take a quick break. We'll be back in a moment to wrap up this episode of the Podcast de Philippe. Welcome back to the Podcast de Philippe. We've been talking about NVIDIA's big announcements at CES 2025, the incredibly powerful new RTX 50 series GPUs, and the game-changing project, Digits, their personal AI supercomputer.
It's been a fascinating conversation. We've covered a lot of ground, from the technical details to the potential impact on everything from healthcare to gaming.
I know, right? It's a lot to process. But before we wrap things up, I wanted to circle back to something we talked about earlier, the democratization of AI development.
That's a key takeaway from this whole Project Digits announcement, for sure.
I mean, think about it. For the price of a high-end gaming PC, researchers, developers, even students could have the power to experiment with cutting-edge AI right from their desks.
Exactly. It's like opening up the world of AI to a whole new generation of innovators.
And who knows what amazing things they might create. We could see breakthroughs in fields we haven't even thought of yet.
It's really exciting to think about the possibilities. It could be a true paradigm shift in how AI is developed and applied.
It really could. And that brings us back to the bigger picture. What does this all mean for the future of AI and for society as a whole?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And I don't think anyone has a definitive answer.
But we can speculate.
Of course. That's part of the fun.
So where do you see all of this heading in the next few years?
Well, I think it's safe to say that we're on the cusp of a new era of AI. An era where AI is not just a tool for experts, but a tool that's accessible to everyone.
And that could lead to an explosion of creativity and innovation.
Absolutely. We could see AI being used to solve some of the world's most pressing problems, from climate change to poverty.
But we also need to be mindful of the potential risks.
Right. We talked about job displacement and the potential for bias in AI algorithms. These are serious issues that we need to address head on.
We need to make sure that AI is developed and used ethically and responsibly.
I completely agree. And that's going to require a lot of careful thought and collaboration. We need to have a conversation about the future of AI that involves everyone, not just technologists.
It's a big responsibility, but I think it's one that we're up to. After all, we're the ones who are creating this technology. We have a responsibility to shape it in a way that benefits humanity.
Well said. It's an exciting and challenging time to be alive.
I couldn't agree more. It's like we're standing at a crossroads. And the choices we make now will have a profound impact on the future.
It's up to us to choose the right path.
And I have a feeling that with the right approach, AI could be one of the most powerful tools we've ever had for creating a better world.
I share your optimism.
Well, on that hopeful note, I think it's time to wrap up this episode of Le Podcast de Philippe.
It's been a pleasure.
The pleasure was all mine. And a huge thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of AI.
And don't forget to subscribe to Le Podcast de Philippe on YouTube, Spotify, and Amazon so you don't miss our next episode.
Until next time.